Hello, bookkeepers and roofers. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing amazing for this Friday. I record videos on Friday for you guys to help you in your business in the incoming week. So today we are going to be asking the question of how much access does a roofing bookkeeper really need to your clients? And I find this question quite often, especially with new bookkeepers and even with experienced bookkeepers, because even experienced bookkeepers in the past, I think we've had a lot of access to things, but we also have learned that it's a lot of security risk when you have access to a lot of things too. In my bookkeeping business, I try to only get access to things that I have got to have. And some things like in QuickBooks, the client themselves are going to have to connect their bank account there. It only accepts their login. Those are some things there. You want enough access to do the accounting that you need to do, the bookkeeping that you need to do to help you do those things, those tools. They're extremely important. And I really love the tools that we do have. So I'm really grateful for that. Let's talk about the bank. What kind of bank access do you need? Generally, when you have set up QuickBooks Online for the client, you can give them the instructions. I have like an instruction sheet I give the client to connect their bank accounts and all their credit cards to QuickBooks Online. If they have any issues with it, what I generally do with that, we'll get on a Zoom call like we're doing now, and I just have them share their screen and I just help walk them through that process. Anything that a client gets confused about, documents or anything like that, then I will get on a Zoom call with them, let them share the screen so I can walk them through. And this really helps your client because it's educating your client too. And so when you're not available, they can easily find things that they need. Even sometimes I send a recording just to save time. And so we're not trying to set up the meeting of the times that are convenient for me and him. And so any confusion there, any restriction there, then I'll just record the video and they have the video they can watch on their phone while they're watching it in QuickBooks. And then they can take it step by step. And that's an easy way for you to learn also when you're trying to learn how to do something. I've done that a lot of times. That way I can stop the button a lot for particular things I need to see. But I let them, as far as the bank goes, I let them connect their bank accounts. If for some reason that they don't want to connect a bank account or there's issues in between QuickBooks and the banking communication, then they will give me a username and a password to their bank account, but I only want them to give me view. I don't want access to do anything in their bank account. I'm keeping myself secure of anything that could possibly happen. And so we've all heard horror stories about that, so I won't go over those horror stories. This way I'm protecting myself as well. And of course, you can have insurance that's for errors and omissions, especially if you are a CPA. If you're a bookkeeper, because we're giving everything to the CPA, and then the CPA is filing the taxes and basically looking over your work too. So any adjustments that they need to make, they're going to make. And if they need to let you know, instead of recording this in this account, I need you to record it in this account. But that's like their second set of eyes there. Credit cards, it's basically the same thing as bank. I don't need access to their credit card. The CRM, and like we discussed in our last video, yes, I want to get access to their CRM. I need to be able to look up the jobs. I need to be able to look at reports. I need to look at payments received. I need to be looking at communications. I need to be looking at expenses. then you want your own login, because if you don't have your own login and you're using their login, then both of you can't be in there at the same time. And it's really hard to time that out just to save a few dollars. I have found out through experience, it just doesn't work. I even had one contractor where I just said, I can't use your CRM without having my own login, because when I'm ready to work on it, you're in there and you've got to look at things, look at jobs and things like that. So it just time efficient. It's just not. You do want to have that login for that. When you have the login where they have communications, when they're talking about different jobs, if you received a payment or something and you see it in the bank feed, then you can let everyone know that you received that. Or if you have a question about a job, you can ask the team about that as well. I put message in there periodically, not every week or anything. If we get a payment from Service Finance, when I already see it in the bank feed, I will let them know we received this payment when I don't see that they put in their reports that they received the payment. So that's just a short part in there. And then our next one is with QuickBooks. So initially, like when I first started, I had a wholesale account. So I would buy 5. At one time, QuickBooks sold like 5 accounts that we got for $30 a month or something, which I don't think you could get that now, but for $30 a month. And then we would just replace it with new clients we were bringing into our business. It was a way to motivate us to get new clients. So that was just a special that they had going on. We had to pay the subscription and then bill the client in with our monthly invoice. That's how the wholesale billing works. But now it works, you can either pay that when you pay your QuickBooks subscription, or you can do a share the revenue. And so I highly recommend just share the revenue, because if you have 10 clients and each one of those, even say they're $100 a month, then that's $1,000 a month coming out your checking account. And so you have to make sure you have that added onto the invoice. And it makes it a little bit difficult for you to really see your profits when you're having to do that. I only have a couple people now that I actually charge on the invoice for that. But otherwise, I want them to be the owner of QuickBooks, so I don't have to transfer over admin rights and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about a customer quitting with me, or them hiring another bookkeeper, or somebody in the family is going to do their bookkeeping for work that I've done I haven't got paid for. I charge initially an invoice for starting the bookkeeping, and then the first of the month, then they are charged again. So all of that is cleared up before I start working for the month. So I'm not going to be working without prepayment. So all of mine are prepayment. A good while back, a couple of years ago, that was what a lot of bookkeepers were thinking. They don't want to give the customer those QuickBooks rights in case they didn't get paid or something like that. You just want to cover yourself with that. But I do highly recommend, if you sign up the person for QuickBooks, they don't have QuickBooks yet, just do the share revenue, because then every time they pay their subscription, then you get a percentage of that. Sometimes I could be earning $100, $150, $200 a month just with the shared revenue. So I think that's a much better method. But you only get one time to choose that. You can't change it, whatever you decide for that client. And then supplier accounts. And yes, I do use they will give me their login for the supplier accounts. I don't generally have my own login for that, but that is something they're not in all the time. The day that I'm doing their bookkeeping, then I can quickly go in there to download like all the new invoices, and I can go and see this payments that they've scheduled, so I can get that on their cash flow sheet or get it in QuickBooks, or however I'm using that information, mainly to get the balance, and then also download those invoices into QuickBooks so I can assign job numbers to those invoices. Then our next one is payroll. You might be using QBO payroll, which you'll get that all set up and there's no additional login you need for that. If they are using ADP, Gusto, Paychecks, or anything like that, then they will need to give you a login to go in there, because you're going to need to go in there to get your transaction journals for every week where payroll has been processed, and also mapping that to QuickBooks, where once you do that, then automatically ADP, for an example, will send the journal entry to QuickBooks, and then when it comes through the bank feed, then it matches up correctly. But you do always have to check when you do that mapping that you have it done correctly. It's going to the right accounts. It can sometimes happen where you put your federal tax to your payroll expense versus your payroll liability. So you want to watch those couple things, make sure you have it correctly. And then Google Drive for documents and things like that. And most of the time, my experience with that, they will give me access, a shared invite or something to Google Drive. So that's pretty easy there. And as far as email, as a bookkeeper, I don't have access to their email, nor do I need access to their email. They're just going to email me anything that they need. Now, if you were doing some virtual assistant work and you're a bookkeeper, then you would need access to their email. Like my son, he has a construction company and he has a virtual assistant. I still do the bookkeeping, but she's a virtual assistant. So they created her an email at or support at his company. I correspond with her back and forth about invoices, what's been invoiced, what's been paid, and that type of thing. Those are some things you want to think about, but just keep in mind access equals responsibility. So you're responsible for that login information and things that happen, and then that's why you could want that and emissions as well because of that. I don't ask for everything. I only ask for what I have to have. Like on that list that we just went through is just a supplier account. If it's ADP, I need my login for that. Then they'll send me the invite to QuickBooks, so I don't need another invite to QuickBooks, and they're going to connect their bank accounts and credit cards, so I don't need that as well. Especially, I do my best not to get logins for bank accounts. There's a lot of security issues and codes and things like that, and it can just take up a lot of time as well. But let's look at some mistakes of wanting admin access to everything. Then you end up having a lot of things on your plate that you're responsible for, that you've got to keep up with all these passwords. And it can even put an extra expense on you, especially like I use Dashlane. That could be another expense for you. But that does help me in remembering all these passwords. And another one that possibly you might need a password for, login for, is going to be any federal website that you need to go in to file taxes or pay payroll taxes. For Texas, it's sales tax and franchise tax. So it could be some of those as well. But you'll just want to, depending on your job responsibility and who takes care of that, what you need to do there. And as far as QuickBooks now with payroll, they are automatically doing all of the filing and they're doing all of the paying as well. So we don't even have an option with that now. They automatically do that. They included that in the increase of their prices starting August 1st. They started doing the payments and filing July 1st, though. It's just the protection of those passwords, that being on your plate as well. And then just not documenting changes. So that could affect some things for you. Those are things that you may need access for, you may not need access for. When you're filling out your onboarding statement, I would just do one of the basic things that you do need access for. And then if you do need more, then you'll ask them for that if different things come up. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that this will help you with your clients, your onboarding, your communication, and getting your bookkeeping done. And I would like to invite you to join our Roofing Bookkeepers Connection on School and meet the members there. When you join over there, I will approve you and then just say hello and just get to know everybody. I just updated my website so it's a little bit clearer for you guys of what you can get help with if you need help. Thank you so much. And if you do have any questions or anything, just put those in the comment or join on School and ask, and then I will answer those questions and or make a video. I like to make videos on things that you guys are having challenges with that's going to help you in your business. I really look forward to Friday of sharing things with you that can be impactful for you and for your business. That's my motivation for doing these videos for you. I had to do a lot of teaching to myself when I was learning all of this, and I just wish I would have had someone to help me along. And so now that's what I offer to you guys. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.